Every earthquake you've ever felt began with a woman emptying a bowl. Her name is Sigyn. She kneels in a cave beneath the world, holding a basin above her husband's face, while venom drips from a serpent's fangs. When the bowl fills, she has to turn away to empty it, and in that moment, the poison finds his skin. The screaming shakes the earth itself. That ending hasn't arrived yet. First, there was a death, and the gods wanted someone to pay for it. Balder was dead, the son everyone loved, the one who made the gods feel like they deserved to be gods. And Loki had put the arrow in a blind man's hand and guided his aim. He should have run. Any sane creature would have vanished into the wilderness and never looked back. But Loki had never been sane, and he wasn't finished. The sea god Aesir was hosting a feast. All the gods attended, drinking from cups that refilled themselves, pretending they weren't grieving. And Loki walked in uninvited. He stood in the doorway until the hall went silent. Then he started talking. He called Odin a coward who handed out victory to the undeserving. He told Frigg her marriage was a lie. He accused Freya of bedding every god in the room, including her own brother. He reminded Tyr that a wolf had bitten off his hand, and he'd done nothing about it. One by one, he tore them apart with words sharper than any blade. The gods sat frozen, some because they were stunned, some because what Loki said was true. When Thor finally arrived with his hammer raised, Loki just smiled and slipped out the door. He'd said what he came to say, every secret, every shame, spoken aloud where everyone could hear. That's when the hunt began. Loki fled to a mountain and built a house with doors facing every direction, so he could see them coming. During the day, he'd slip into the river as a salmon and hide in the waterfall's foam. But Odin saw everything from his high seat, and eventually his one good eye found the mountain. When the gods arrived, Loki was already in the water. They searched his empty house, found the ashes of a burned fishing net in his hearth. Kvasir, wisest among them, studied the pattern of the charred knots. "He's made a net," he said quietly. "He knows what catches fish." So they wove one of their own. They cast it across the river. But Loki pressed himself between two stones at the bottom. Thor was waiting at the river's mouth. When the salmon jumped, Thor's hand shot out and caught it by the tail. The scales slipped. The fish thrashed. Thor's grip tightened until something cracked. He didn't let go. They dragged Loki to a cave, but the punishment hadn't truly begun. Loki had two sons with Sigyn, Narfi and Vali, boys who had done nothing wrong. The gods brought them into the cave anyway. What happened next was not justice. It was revenge wearing justice's face. They changed Vali, twisted him into something with too many teeth and not enough mind. A wolf, feral, hungry, unable to recognize the boy standing beside him as his brother. Vali lunged. Narfi's scream echoed once off the cave walls, then stopped. The wolf tore into him until there was nothing left but scattered pieces and silence. The gods watched. None of them looked away. When it was over, they gathered what remained of Narfi. They stretched Loki across 3 stone slabs, bored holes through the rock, and bound him with his own son's entrails, his shoulders to one stone, his hips to another, his knees to a third. The moment the binding was complete, the entrails hardened into iron. Loki would never slip free, but they weren't finished. Skadi stepped forward. She had never forgiven Loki for her father's death, and her grief had calcified into something patient and cold. She held a serpent in her hands. She fastened it above Loki's face, positioned so the venom would drip directly onto his skin. One drop, then another, forever. She stepped back to admire her work. The gods left the cave. All of them. They had their punishment. They could return to their halls and their feasts and pretend the world was right again. That's what gods do. They break things and walk away. But Sigyn didn't leave. She found a bowl somewhere in that darkness. She knelt beside her husband, raised it above his face, and caught the venom before it could touch him. No one asked her to. The gods had punished Loki and hadn't thought about his wife at all. But she stayed. The cave is silent now except for the slow drip of poison into the basin. Sigyn's arms must ache. Her knees must be raw against the stone. But she holds the bowl steady, her eyes fixed on the serpent's fangs, counting each drop. She has counted 1,000 years of drops. She will count 1,000 more, and when the bowl grows heavy, she has to move, just for a moment, just long enough to pour out the venom and return. But in that moment, the poison hits Loki's face, and he writhes against his bonds so violently that the earth above shakes. Mountains crack, the sea churns, villages wake to their walls crumbling. Then she's back. That's how it will remain until the end of everything. Loki bound in darkness, and Sigyn kneeling beside him, arms raised, waiting for a bowl to fill that will never stay empty. The most loyal wife in all the 9 worlds, married to the least loyal husband. Some say, when the last great earthquake comes, it will mean the bowl has shattered, that Sigyn's arms have finally given out, that Loki has broken free at last, and Ragnarök has begun. Until then, she holds the bowl. And somewhere deep beneath the world, a husband waits for his wife to look away, so he can scream.